What's up, Jimmy and Jake? It's John from New York. So last year around the trade deadline, a lot of the talk around prospect capital and whether you should be trading for players came down to the fact, and I think Jimmy was leading this most, that a lot of these prospects are unproven. You never know what you have, and you should always trade for the guy that's MLB ready right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with the guys that we have now in the farm system, being Oswald Peraza and Anthony Volpe particularly, where do you think the line of demarcation is where what players we should actually trade for them, how much value they have, and whether we as an organization should plan on holding on to them?
This is always tricky because they're prospects. We have no idea. My going away line has been, if we're getting someone, Matt Olson, like,
Right.
I know we've talked about Matt Olson a lot. Like, Matt Olson finished 8th in the MVP last year. He's in his prime. He's 27. Like, lefty swing, short porch, like
multiple years.
It's all there. Like, whatever prospect you give up, you good.
Love for them to get to that production 1 year.
And like, if they do end up being good somewhere, like, you kind of have to get at grips with that because they're a prospect.
Right.
You know, that's obviously part of Brian Cashman's job is to limit that.
You should feel proud, if anything. I think more teams are willing to trade with you if other prospects pan out elsewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
you don't want that to blow up in their face.
Like, it's
you don't want it to be a flop.
the definition of trading. Like, you'd rather, nobody cares about fantasy football, but like, okay, you need an upgrade at quarterback, I need an upgrade at wide receiver. Let's make that work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm going to trade you my bench defense for your star running back. Like, that's like, no, trades.
Why are we even doing this conversation?
So, what was the final question? Like, where do we draw the line in the sand on prospects?
I think like the overall like how do you know which prospects you like want to trade, or like what's your criteria for when you're deciding if a guy's worth trading or worth holding on to, worth being a guy that you don't want to give up easily? This is sort of like, how do you assess that situation?
Well,
I think is what he's kind of getting at.
I think you look at, because you look at your prospects, right? And then you got to look at your window. I think that's important too. And, if you look back at 2017, hey, we're not trading these guys, right? Because they're going to be part of our group and they're going to grow or whatnot. But, fast forward, now Judge is getting older. Glaber's getting older. We just talked about him being 25. Before you know it, he's going to have to get paid soon. Gary, all of these guys getting older. Same thing with Giancarlo. You got his contract. You signed Garrett Cole to this contract as well, so that you can win now, not at the end of his contract. So listen, it's the same thing with Jason Dominguez. You want to dream on these guys. You really do, because they're your guys, but I think the goal is to win in any which way you could do it, getting there quicker, whether it's through prospects or through, free agents. I think I don't really care.
Yeah. I guess that's what it comes down to. If you want to have this mindset, you can, is like, all right, like the window now. And the thing, you can read everything on prospects. It says Oswaldo Peraza will be ready to play Major League Baseball next year. Does that mean he'll be good or not? I have no idea. But supposedly he can play defense, so how much does he hit? Blah, blah, blah. You could do that all day. I guess maybe one of the takes you could have is like, you mentioned Volpe and Dominguez. Those guys are still young.
Right.
So maybe you say, like, hey, we're attacking this 3-year window with anyone who's going to be a major leaguer in the next 3 years, whether it's Peraza, Medina, Clark Schmidt. Like, we forgot about him a little bit.
They have a chance to help in
Pavey.
this time.
So
I'm not trying to give that up.
So if maybe that's the mental hurdle you need, like, hey, let's any of those guys that we're going to find out in the next 3 years or 2 years, move them, and then we'll find out on Volpe and Dominguez when you're right, Joes. We'll see, baseball moves quick. Like, is Gio Urshela a Yankee in a couple years? Aaron Judge. I mean, So I guess that's a mindset you can have, but at the end of the day, if you're getting an established major leaguer, some of the guys we've talked about, Ketel Marte, Brian Reynolds, you don't draw a line.
Yeah.
That's the secret.
Yeah.
You
Brian
saying-
Reynolds, too. Brian Reynolds is a guy.
Are you saying secret or egret?
I've never heard the word egret.
It's a bird.
That's a bird.
It's a type of bird, yeah.
How
Seen
does this
around
bird-
water.
I need to see how this bird looks.
I like
Go to
saying
Google.
egret instead of secret. Thanks for calling.